Yes, inakuwaje watu wangu wa nguvu, kama kawaida, this is your boy Director Don, and of course greatness and greatness attracts greatness, how sio? And so leo niko na someone, an amazing lady ambaye amekuwa akifanya great things in the society, amekuwa akifanya vitu ambazo tunataka kuona ama tunataka kusikia kama watu ambao tunahutu kwa society. And of course I want to give her the time ajintroduce tu vizuri, atuambie ni nani, ametoka mtaa gani na what she does before we continue. Ama ni aje?
Ni sawa, iko sawa. So kwa majina mimi naitwa Damaris Budulika kutoka Nakuru. So
ngoja kwanza, unajua umesikia, umeona ni kama nimestuka, umeona sura yangu ikiwa Budulika ni jina wapi?
It's a Croatian name. Yeah. So my late husband was born in Croatia, moved to Australia when he was 4. So he was an Australian citizen. Yeah.
So umesema wait, rudia tena.
My late husband.
Before you useme your late husband. Sasa hizo majina zako
Damaris Budulika. Yes, Budulika. Ukishindwa unasema Burudika. Burudika.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's nice having you here. And of course tunajua umetoka Nakuru. In general kikao cha leo mtu anaangalia tu hivi, just tupatie hint, what do you do?
So for me, I rescue children that are abandoned, 0 to above age. That's what I do in daily basis. So I live with them in my place. Mission in Action is the name of the home. Actually, I don't like calling it like an orphanage because we live as a family. We are there 24/7 together, just like any other family. Yes. Yeah, so when these children are rescued, they come there. The first thing we do when we find a child, obviously, the first thing we do is look for anyone that could be related to them or anyone that might know them. Few cases that it happened that, we could find someone. But most cases we don't. And that's why we're there. So if we can't find someone, they become part of our family. Yes.
So now you've said you have a home.
Yes.
That raises these kids, and I mean, perhaps for someone who is watching, from what age to what age does your family your home takes kids from what age to what age?
So for Mission in Action, we prefer taking in like newborn babies, few weeks old, few hours old, and then we raise them, because we have children that came there when they were obviously young. We raise them in a Christian way, and then if we get children that are older or from the streets, then we're mixing two different personality or characters, and it doesn't work. So we prefer taking in young ones fresh and raising them. Yes. And
because I know you've been doing this for a good while. I mean, when did you start all this thing, and where did you get the ideology of getting to bring these kids to stay with them and make them part of your family?
So basically, my husband Ivan Budulika visited Kenya many years back, and when he got here, what he noticed was there was a lot of young children in the streets. And he tried to, ask what's happening and why they were in the streets. And most of them, it's because they didn't have families. And he said he obviously believed in God and had a lot of faith in God. And he said, when I go back, God, I pray that you help me come back and start an orphanage. That's where the whole vision started. So when he went back, he worked very hard. He had 3 properties. He sold all his houses and came back here with money. Started everything from scratch, bought land, built, and started the home. and I came on board later in the years. And we're very passionate about helping, and especially these children, because we feel the children have no options. I mean, they can't do, they're vulnerable. So that's why we decided that it's the children that we want to focus on, because they're the tomorrow's future. Yeah.
And perhaps how many children have you had, and how do you determine now this kid is of age to be able to get of your answer?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do it?
So since the home was started back in 2004, we've had more than 100 children pass through Mission in Action. At the moment, we have 75 currently. That in high school, and the rest in primary. We only have 3 little ones at home. Ones are only 2 weeks old that I rescued 2 weeks ago, and same day she was born, she was left in the maize field. Luckily, it was close to the road and people heard her crying. So the chief called me to go and pick up this child, and we help her. So I mean, these children, their own their strengths are different. They're all different, and like any other child, they're not academically smart. So for those who that are not academically smart, we see, as a parent, you see what their strengths are. Maybe playing soccer, singing, and all these kind of stuff. So we encourage them, to focus and work on their strength. So for those who are not academically smart, so we take them to a college. They can do in beauty, electricals, and stuff like that. For those who are good in school, because there is, we encourage them through the universities. We find sponsors to pay for their ongoing education, and we want to see them with a job, or the ones that are doing courses to see that they have a business. Yes. And
so far, I mean, what was that worst experience that you've had as someone who is rescuing kids, and you felt the pain, and as a mother and as someone who tries to rescue these kids? What was that experience?
I had an experience whereby we had a child rescued from a pit latrine, and when this child came to us, before he actually came to us, a chief called me and my husband and said, there's a child that's been in the pit toilet, quick, come and help them. So before we got there, other people's, the community had already gotten there. They took the child from the pit toilet. They rushed the child to the hospital that I'm not going to mention. And to be honest, when I get a child, we take them to a private hospital fast hand, because we'll demand of what we want done. After that, we can see further treatment and see what they need. But for this particular child, when they got this child, obviously we don't know how long that child was in the pit toilet for. So instead of taking the child in straight away for checkup and see what can be done, they waited for social media to come. So for that every second of that child counted. Every delay was obviously shortening the life of this little one. The social media guys came, they rushed the hospital, obviously, on the cameras on them. But this child was obviously had traumas, and we don't know what else happened while he was there. So when we got to the hospital, everything was happening. We had someone looking after the child in the hospital. And one morning we went there to see the child, and I can see that there was a huge change on the child's face. It's a newborn, but you can see something has gone wrong. So I went and asked for the nurse to come and check on the kid. It was on a weekend. It was on a Saturday. So I sent someone to go and call the nurse. They went and came back. There was no response. So I was getting edgy. I was getting upset because this was not good. So I went back to those back rooms myself to call the lady that was in charge at that particular day, at that particular shift. And she knew the child was an orphan. So she asked me, Why are you so worried? Is that your child? So that experience, I can never delete it off my mind, because the way this lady responded, it's not human. It didn't matter if that child was mine or not. It didn't matter if it was an animal, but you don't respond like that to a living thing. So that to this day hurts my heart, because we lost this boy.
Sorry. So sad. Anyway, so apart from that, we know there's so many young people give birth and maybe dispose their kids. How many so far have you found that have disposed their kids and took them back?
4. We've had 4 girls that we found after they abandoned their child. We got to know who they were and brought them. So the story that they tell, from the reason why they do this, it's because they feel stuck. The parent rejects them because they are pregnant, and they're bringing another mouth to feed. It's another big responsibility. Already probably the parents are struggling to raise this one child, and then you bring another one. So they're kicked out. When they're kicked out, maybe the man that impregnated the girl is not ready to take responsibilities. So the girl thinks, why should I be stuck? And that gives them a reason to actually throw these children. So we had one case whereby a young lady had who really cared and loved her child was left with no any other choice but to do that, and they left the child in front of a shop. Obviously this lady wanted this child to survive, because when you put the child in front of a shop, you know that someone will find this child, and and we were called to pick the child. A day later, this girl came to the police station and said, I did this and this, and I feel bad about it, but this is exactly, and she gave a reason why she did it, and it's because the man that was the father to this child sent her off with nothing, and she had nothing to give or to offer to this child. So these girls, some of them, most of them actually love their children so much, but they have nothing to offer. So I feel it's a big responsibility to the community, to the society, to come on board and try and help and encourage these girls to know that it's not the end just because they're falling pregnant. They can be helped to raise this child, and they can always go back to school. They don't have to feel that they've committed the worst thing in the world to fall pregnant.
So far, do you have anyone who's gone to university from these kids that you've been raising?
We've had few that have gone through colleges and currently working. We have 3 that are finishing high school in the next 2 months, and I believe 2 of them will be joining
Campus.
Yes, because they're very good. They're getting good marks, and I can't wait to see what they.
The third one will shock you.
Yeah. No, they're doing. No. Actually, I'm not saying that he's not going to be joining university, but you see, just like your own children, I know what they're capable of. I know their strength. So yes.
And so far, the way now, because our economic status as a country is not good.
Yeah.
How is it, operating? And now you said your husband is late. How is it been, you doing whatever you're doing to support the kids?
To be honest, it's tough. It's a challenge, and financially it's hard. So I'm just hoping that things will get better. And since COVID, we lost a lot of our sponsorship. Most of our sponsors, we don't have corporate sponsors. We don't have companies that are come on board to partner with us. We rely fully on individual supporters. So back when COVID hit, we lost a lot of them because people lost their jobs. we're coming back up slowly, but with the way the economy is, it's really, it's hard. Yes. And the other thing is, when you come to Mission in Action and you just drive in, it looks good. It looks like a resort. So again, us looking good, everyone thinks we have so much money. So it's because all the donations that we get, they go exactly where they intended to. I mean, the children don't have to look like from the street just because they're orphans. I don't allow children wearing ripped clothes. The children look like any other child. You can't pick them, and this is why we're there. We're not there to just because the children are orphans. They look messy or rough. Exactly. We want these children to feel the love, care, that they're just living like any other child. Just because they don't have a mom and dad, it doesn't mean that they can't live like a normal child. So that's why I'm here, and I'm willing, with people's help, people come on board and help us. Yeah, our motto is help us, help others.
I think you've seen a documentary that BBC did, that of the elderly people being caned and being denied medication because they are being taken care of, and their families have denied them love and So how is it different from working with these young people and showing them love, the love they need and the care? Is it so hard? Is it something that you just...
So what I can say is Mission in Action, as much as we'd say it's an orphanage, it's a family. The way we brought these children up, the way we live together, we live in the same house. There is nothing like I come once a week to check on them or once a month. I live with them 24/7. When I'm out somewhere and the child cries somewhere, I know exactly who's crying. I don't have to be there to know. That's how well I know them. Because when the child is abandoned and I pick it up, comes in my room, I look after them like my own. For the first few months, they're in my room. Every 2 to 3 hours, I'm up giving them formula. I bond with them. I know what their problem is. I know how their health is. So it's a family setup. We live as a family, as a big family. So I believe these children have been given a second chance in life. So for me, just because they don't have a family, they don't have to be brought up differently to other children. Yes.
And how far, so far, has there any government institution that has come to partner with you and show the support?
The children department always check on us, which is really good.
The Nakuru children.
The Nakuru children department checks on us to make sure that we're okay, the children are good, which is really good. Yes. Other than that, the hospitals, public hospitals are really good also, because some of the children that are needing medication like ARVs, obviously we get for free, so that's already a support.
Come to talk about it, like you've spoken about ARVs, that's where I wanted to go. Do you normally find these kids who are born with HIV and AIDS?
We've had few, actually, some obviously have grown and left, but we've had children that in that condition. They live, you cannot tell them apart. There's certain things we do for them, like, in between meals, feeding, to make sure that they're eating balanced diet, just like any other. But there's few things that we do for them extra to make sure they're okay. So some of these children are just abandoned just because of their status, which is a shame to us as a society. These children should not be treated different, because when they're there, they live like any other. They don't have issues. They're taking the medication, they're eating well, and they're living like a normal life. So these children, they don't feel different to the others, because as much as they're taking this medication, we don't treat them differently. They just like any other child.
And maybe finally, as we finish, how does it feel now being a community mom? Because now it sounds like you're a community mom. Everybody loves what you do, and giving shelter to someone who is not part of your life is being a community mom. How does it feel? You yourself, how do you feel when you're doing this?
I feel good, actually. I feel good, and I'm very proud of these children because they come from very bad background, but most of them are making their lives better by being there, by being given this chance. And I believe any other child or any other girl out there, a young girl that's falling pregnant, they don't have to feel stuck, because people can come on board with me and help me give these children the best life possible. So I am very proud of them because they don't sit and feel sorry for themselves because they don't have a family, because they have us. I mean, we are us as family there. So we are happy, we do many activities through the day just like any other family. So I'm a proud mom. Yes.
Kushaikuwa na mtu ambaye amekuja kuclaim mtoto after 8 years, 10 years?
Akujai kuwa na story kama hiyo, but there was a day I was sitting somewhere and one of my staff came to me and said there's someone asking for a day, just that day job. So to be honest, I follow my guts, what my guts are telling me. So this lady just shows up and says, can you please help me with kibarua for the day? I'm stuck, I need food and stuff like that. So I said to my staff and say, we won't give her job or work to do for the day, but not inside. We'll give her, let her go to the garden and help. Later on, the next day, this lady comes to me and says, how did you know? And I like, know what? I said, you see the lady that came here yesterday? Apparently, she was the lady that abandoned one of the children that was there. So we don't know what her plan was. But yes, actually, it's the boy that I have here with me today. His name is Blake. So his mom came in a, twisted way to try and get him. But we don't know what she was planning to do, but she didn't get that chance. This lady, she had abandoned, the year before, she had abandoned another child. Exactly the same spot where this boy was. But the other one was too late to be found, so it was already dead. So obviously this lady knew she was going to jail if she's found out. Because when you abandon a child, you go to jail for 4 years. So there is no way no one want to come and claim a child after doing that, because they know exactly what the outcome is. I mean, what. Yes.
And if God has blessed this mom, and she was bad of wakati alikuwa anatupa mtoto, and now Mungu amembariki, amepata pesa mzuri, and now she feels like, now I know where the kid was taken to. Haki nikienda nipatiwe yule mtoto, naweza mpatia love yote yenye ningependa kumpatia kutoka akiwa mdogo. Will you do that?
Now, like I said, all the children that are with us, they came through the children department and committed to mission in action through court. The committal goes for 3 years. And after every 3 years, these children are taken back to court to be seen physically and for the committal to be renewed. So I personally, I have no mandate, or it's not my.
So she has to go to court and get
yeah, exactly. You have to go through court and say I abandoned the child.
For 4 years.
Exactly. So that's the way. They can't come direct to me because I don't go direct and pick a child. The child is placed to us through the court, through the children department. So they want the child, they have to use the same procedure.
Oh, thank you so much. And maybe just to thank those who've been supporting you through this time.
Yeah. So, guys, I just want to thank you so much. People in Australia, people in Europe, people in Kenya that love us and love our children and support us. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate everything. We don't want to take anything for granted. We appreciate everything. And just keep what we're doing, what you're doing. We appreciate. Thank you.
And mwenye anachukua pale video, what can you tell her?
Faith, mambo. Thank you so much for being my friend, being the auntie to the children, and for the young mothers that come to us for One Tribe Mama project that I said that we take in mothers underage. She actually does that. She helps with that, and we appreciate. Yeah.
Maybe lastly now to crown it, you know, for someone who is watching and maybe they want to send a donation or something to you, how can they find you?
So on Facebook, we are Mission in Action Children's Home or Baby Orphanage. You can go there and see what we do. If you want to call us, you pay us a visit, you can call me on 0717 568 696.
Do you know the Madam Doricas, the first lady to our vice president, ana supporting sana boy child, na nimeona kuna maboy child. Have you ever tried to reach him?
Not really, because as you know, we need, for you to reach someone like her, you need some connections. So if she can hear me, she can come and see what we do and help our boys, because we have so many of them, and we'll be so happy.
What's the ratio?
For the boys, actually close to balance, like probably 40 boys. Yes, yeah, and they're doing very well. So come and see us, come and visit us. Officially, I'm inviting you.
So our first lady and Madam Doricas, munasikia, and for those politicians and good well-wishers ambao mnatazama hii video, please go there, support them, and let's have a society that is full of love.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching. This is Director Don. Until next time, peace.